Okay, so good morning, everyone. My name is Yasmin, and today I will guide this conversation. Today we'll talk about privilege, and Talk and Talk is a safe place to express your opinion, your thoughts. So we are not here to judge you, but to help you. And let's start introducing ourselves. So Jefferson, can you start introducing yourself?
Okay, my friend. Good morning, guys. I'm Jefferson. I live in Goiânia, Goiás. I'm economist, professor of Catholic University of Goiás, and it's a pleasure to be here to talk with you about type of privilege.
Very good. Thank you so much, Jefferson. And what about you, Fernando?
Hello, everyone. My name is Fernando. I'm from Rio de Janeiro, but I live in São Paulo. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm trying to improve my English. So that's it.
Very good. Thank you so much. And you, Ricardo? We can't hear you.
Sorry. I'm Ricardo. I live at São Vicente. I work on IT field. I'm at work in a telecommunications company. I'm married. I have a daughter. And well, I'm trying to learn one more piece of information and try to improve my English. That's it.
Very good. Thank you so much for sharing about you. And you, Robert?
Hello, my name is Robert. I live in Praia Grande, South Beach in São Paulo. Ricardo is my neighbor.
Yeah, exactly.
I work with 3D for metaverso, VR, some things for games. I am married. I have 4 daughters. And that's it. It's a beautiful day in Praia Grande today. That's it.
Very good. Thank you so much. So now that we know each other, we can start our conversation. And the first question is, what is privilege and how does it impact our lives? So Robert, let's start with you.
It's hard talk. Privileges. I have a lot of privilege. I born in the periphery of São Paulo, in São Miguel Paulista, you know. But my father worked hard, and he take me a lot of privilege. But I have some friends living in São Miguel without privilege, you know. Different lives, different cultures, and privilege. You have a lot of things, and other people don't have these things. This is privilege, maybe.
Yeah, I think like even if you live in the same place of many people, we live like different realities. So, and you, Ricardo, what is privilege for you?
Well, privilege, in my opinion, could be a way to let the things easier for a specific group and not all the people live this depends on the situation, certainly. But if you tell about the health people and just a part of this group don't deserve receive how do you say privilege or help more specific part of this group than all the people. That's it. Essentially.
Yeah, I think I think it in the same way, like when someone is receiving something and you are not, because I don't know, because of the place where you live or the color of your skin or the job that you don't have. So, and you, Fernando?
I think privilege. We have two. Maybe you have more, but I think we have the privilege that you sente falta. You feel when you are impacted directly, the one. And other privilege are that privilege you don't get importance because you are in specific area, because you have a specific color, because you're born with that privilege. So, example, I'm born in Rio de Janeiro, and I never have air conditioner. I don't know how in English. So when I moved to São Paulo, I bought your air conditioner, so it's gonna be good for me. But it's usually in São Paulo, in some place you work and you have air conditioner. So and I think the impact of privilege is very powerful for people didn't have that privilege. So then in your movie, the movie that you show for us, it's very clear. I'm reflecting about that. To reflecting.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't think about these little things, like to have an air conditioner. It's a privilege, but sometimes we think that it's not. Yeah. So, and what about you, Jefferson?
But if you use air conditioner, you must pay the bill. You must have money to pay the bill. It's too expensive now. Yeah, that's a big problem. For me, privilege refers to a special advantage or benefits that can be about a particular group of people, can be about social status, can be about, as you said, about identity, the color, the skin, can be about access of resources. For example, you have a place with a lot of resources, like all of you are privileged guys because you live in São Paulo, is the rich state of Brazil, the best universities, the best financial system, the best kind of knowledge, the best universities, the best system of public transportation. So all of you have the privilege to live in the best city of Brazil, São Paulo. And I'm living here in Goiânia. We are trying to have the privilege of the guys from São Paulo. That's the point. And the privilege, when you refer to social status, you can think about the poor and the rich guys. We live in a society where with the income, it's not the best way distributed by society. We have a lot of poor guys and rich guys. And just to finish to think about my situation, as a professor, we see this. We have a lot of guys with higher the higher education and the lower education. And that's a big problem for our country. When you have the higher education, you can have better salary, and the lower, you have lower salary. That's the big problem from our country.
Yeah, very good. And it's really important what you said, because it's really a privilege where we live. So I think we can skip to number 9 and talk about what, like Jefferson said, about status. So what are the privileges of your status? So Ricardo, let's start with you.
Number 9.
Yeah.
Well, it's difficult sometimes. It's hard, tough to tell about this topic. I'm a white man, but it's not my fault. Sometimes I watch, observe in our society, and the problem is not exactly a white man. The problem is on the racist, for example. And sometimes I try to how do you say, pass knowledge for my child, try to touch about respect, not exact respect in my family, but about the other people. And I try to do my best to touch. Certainly there are some conditions specific in Brazil is different from United States, not exact a big difference, but it's different in my opinion. Maybe our country, the most part of the people are black, and the United States is not. I'm not sure, but I believe that's not so. It's the same content, the same percentage of the population. So how do you say? I try to do my best, touch my daughter, and my daughter is naturally a woman. So in this case, there are some people tell about the privilege about men. So normally I doesn't matter about how the people tell, oh, you are a white man, and I try to help in this topic, try to touch my daughter, and try to take care about my friends, try to help my friends and my family, and they share this respect, share this feeling, this love about the people that don't have the same conditions with me. I try to work as a volunteer and try to do some things. So that's it.
Very good. Yeah, I think it's not like your fault that you have some privileges, but I think it's important to know that you have these privileges. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and you, Fernando.
Trying explain layers. I think I have a lot of privilege. So, and the physical privilege, I can breathe, I can walk, I have the and the things, all things. I'm not seeking. I have access to drink, to put agua and water, clean water. I have food. I have a place to sleep. I have food. I have family. I have education. I don't live in a country with war. So if I try see the good vision, I have a lot of privilege, but it's in my case it's me. If I see maybe our neighborhood, we have a lot of people in different situations, living in streets without food. We have problems. So maybe I can explain. I have good health. I live in a good place. I have family. My country no have a civil war. We have good or not. Some people we have an opportunity in your country. I'm trying learn a new idiom right now. So I think I have good privilege. So I need to improve more things. I need to improve. If you told me I want to maybe access a lot of things I didn't access right now, but I can do a lot of things too. I am a privilege here.
Very good. Yeah, and you brought like a good point that it's about to learn a new language. Like in Brazil, if you live here, it's really a privilege to have like this opportunity to talk in another language. So, and what about you, Jefferson?
I'm gonna talk about myself. I'm a guy. I'm not a poor guy in the past, but low middle class, and I construct my own privilege. I study my whole life in public school, my high school, taught, and then the college. I went to PUC. It's a private school, but I have granted to study there. And I decided to be somebody in life, to have privilege. And the own way by studying, by education. So I did my undergraduate, I did my master's degree, I did my PhD, and I never stopped studying all the life. And I remember when I was maybe 16 years old, I have no money to pay to study English, but I had a scholarship, and I studied English. I studied Spanish by the scholarship, 6 months of German and French. I remember all of this, and I paid nothing, and that's make a difference for me about language. And now as a professor, I have a privilege to be a professor from a very good university. I work with business consultants too. I think this is the privilege for me because I construct all of this. And I think privilege about the status, you must think about your life. You must do the best. Try to be good at everything you do. And I had a lot of opportunities in my life. And I just used to say, thank God for this. It thanks God for me because I'm fighting all the time to improve everything that I do in my life. I live in a condo now. It's a very good condo. Here I can walk. We have security. We have gym that you can go there. So, and just to finish the privilege, as Fernando said about health, I think health is very important. you know, to think about your health, to go to the gym, to walk, to run, to play soccer, or another thing to think about medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, and it's a privilege that you don't need to take a lot of medicines to maintain like your health. So, and you said like about university, and even if I am like a black woman, I studied like my whole life in a public school too, but I have good conditions. Like my parents, they could pay like my university, they could pay like a English course to me too. So I think these are like my privilege too. And what about you, Robert?
Well, it's very important to say Brazil was the last country to abolish slaves, you know. I'm a white man, and this is very important. It's a big status in Brazil. You don't have, of course, I have some problems in my life without money, without job, but today I have a good job. I work with 3D. I love this. It's a job of the moment because you have metaverse, whatever. But my privileges, maybe that's it. I'm a white man in Brazil. I have a house, I have my family, opportunities. But if I was a black man, I don't know. It's very important to say that. I love to say that in Brazil. Because some people say don't exist racism in Brazil. Oh my, you live in Narnia, maybe. That's it. I'm grateful. I have a lot of privileges. I don't know. That's it.
Yeah, very good. And like we need to be grateful to like for having this privilege. So you said like about racism and things like this. I think we can go to the question number 7 that talks about the education. So what is the role of education in understanding privilege and creating a more just society? So Fernando, let's start this one with you. Number 7.
What is the role of education in understanding privilege to create not just society? I talk about this in another meeting, in another day. I think education can solve and resolve and adjust each difference, each problem, each situation. So if it's possible, access to education, equal education or minimum, I think you could guarantee the access for each one, for anyone, with quality, with safely, with results for each people. Try all needs to need access to education, because it's not access the university or the school or we guarantee with quality, with computers, with internet, with a safe place to study. So if I understand the real question is the unity rule, the unity, if I just guarantee the people to education with safety, with quality, with results, I think it could be a good.
Yeah, maybe I think like the role of education is to show us that privilege exists and that we need to be aware of this. And you, Robert, what do you think?
It's very important. I have a short history. I had a cleaner in my house. In first, it's a friend in my family, of course, today. But in your first day in my house, in the lunchtime, I look in the living. Hey, I can't say the name, of course. Where are you? I'm here in the service area. Why? I'm eating. It's very strange. I come here, please. Why? I had a bad place in my life. This history break my heart, you know. You have a lot of people in the world, in Brazil, without education about the I don't know the words, but the igualdade. I don't know how can I say this, but it's so hard. You live in Brazil. Some people say Brazil is a special place of the world. The people is so funny, so happy, but you have a lot of problem here. I don't know. That's it.
Yeah, and this is I don't know. This is a good story that we can hear, that we can listen to notice that these things happen until like nowadays, that people feel that that people don't treat them well too. Yeah, because they don't have some privilege.
Yes, yeah, and of course, this girl is a black woman, of course, but if not, but black, the color is not a problem in this time, but she born in Ceará. Second problem, you know, she is a poor woman. That's it. This is real Brazil.
Yeah, and you, Jefferson.
That's the point. It's not so easy to talk about it, but let's go ahead. Well, as a professor, I used to talk about the history of oppression in Brazil. It's very important. You see about, I think Fernando's talk about the slavery, 200 years of slavery, the most in the world. This is terrible for the Brazilian guys, the histories of oppression. This is one kind of thing. And Robert talked about the black and white. It's a big problem for us. We see by the difference of salaries, it's so different. We see this by numbers, by figures. And I used to try this strategy to create change. I think this is very important because I teach for rich guys and poor guys at the same time. at the same kind of guy. And what can you do? We can promote critical thinking and encourage to open dialogue all the time. I do this with all my students. I think it's very important to study students to develop a better understanding of the privilege and how it's manifested in society, and how to superate it. How can you tackle with this kind of privilege? What's the best way? And all the time I used to say, come on, guy, the only way you must study, 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 study. There is no other way for you, especially for poor students. There is no way, no way. So it's very important, this critical thing to think about the society, to think about how you must solve problems. You have a lot of problems to solve. And I do this every day with my students because I remember my past. I remember my past. This is the only way. And I have just a few guys, rich guys, studying with me. They think about nothing about this. For him, so it's okay, no problem. Go to good restaurants, travel 4 times a week, know the whole world, and go on. But the other guys, they haven't this kind of privilege, unfortunately.
Yeah. And like I was thinking about this, that we can see many like rich people in public universities, and we don't see like poor people. So, but like because they had like more access to a good education than poor people, so it's something that we need to think about too. But I think that like public universities, they were not made for poor people. So, and you, Ricardo.
Well, I believe that this topic is so complicated. Yeah, I believe on the whole of the education in everything, not exactly the privilege, but I believe that the education is not enough to solve this problem. I believe it is necessary a lot of situations. So is necessary education and law too. It's necessary create laws or create conditions to this on our society. Everyone have the same conditions. Women, black people, and the people that have a special necessity, could be. I'm not sure if you right. And the well, sometimes, well, every day, and actually, I watch on TV, on cell phones, a lot of news about this topic. And well, I try to focus and well, how can I help and try to avoid some part of this situation, and just focus and I don't know, do charity or any try to be a good father, try to pass knowledge for my children, but avoid these situations in the future, and try to help other people, I believe, and maybe sometimes, for example, you observe another societies in other countries, and they have a lot of how do you say, the schools are so good, they receive enough information, they receive a good behavior, and even though there are some problems about this topic. So in this case, as I told you, it's necessary a lot of combined actions to solve this problem during a lot of time. I believe that sometimes you watch on news and there are a smart guy and they just tell about, oh, it's necessary one thing or necessary just 1 minute to solve this problem is not possible, in my opinion. It's necessary improve our behavior, our actions during a lot of time to solve definitely this problem. That's it.
Yeah, I think like when we stop like to compare the privileges that we have or that we don't have, like as a I consider like Brazil a rich country, but when we compare like to United States or other countries, we can see that we don't have like a lot of privileges as them. So, but I think we have time to answer one more. And now the question is, how does privilege impact our opportunities, experiences, and access to resources? Because like nowadays I can see that I can access a lot of things that my parents they couldn't in the past. And what about you, Robert?
Some teenagers in Brazil need to work and you can't study. It's a big problem in Brazil, you know. And culture is very important for your life, for the opportunities in your life. You have in Brazil a lot of teenagers out of school, you know. It's a big problem. And sometimes kids go to school only to eat. It's a big problem, man. It's a big problem. It's so sad. I don't know. That's it, maybe.
Very good. And what about you, Fernando?
I think how much privilege you have, more access, and more easier could be to you get new experiences, open new opportunity, access resource. So, example, I in a safe place with I am right now in a safe place with internet, with computer, so I can access a new language and study English. So I think if example, if I live in a rural area without internet, maybe I have money, I have computer, but without internet, I can access and study online a new language with you. So I think the privilege maybe is not a about money, about color. It's about neighborhood you live. It's about the country you live. It's about your religion. So, how many privileges I have, much easier the life it could be, and how many more easy the to get the stuff I have. We don't live in a Goiânia city like Jefferson say. It's a greatest city in the world. I have some friends there, and each Goiânia guy say this, but my brother lives in São Pedro da Aldeia in Rio de Janeiro. It's a good city to live, but it's a safe city, it's a good city, but they don't have hospitals. Right now, he needs a special treatment to solve a health problem. So they don't have a hospital there. So they need to move another city, change their routine. So privilege is not maybe about money, it's about the resource, about the place you live.
And yeah, I was thinking here because like my parents, they didn't have like access to computers, and now it's something that I have, so it's like a privilege. So like my mom was telling me that in the past they need to go like to the library to make like their research in books. So I think nowadays to have this technology, it's really a privilege. And you, Ricardo?
Well, uh, I believe that is sometimes I observe, I watch. I believe that is possible for anyone reach every goal, but certainly for some people is receive more facilities to get these goals. I believe that I graduated when I was 40 years old. I start on a college when I was 35 years old. So I don't receive opportunity when I finish my high school. Part of this situation is about my fault. I don't study enough to pass in some exam. So sometimes I observe, I watch news about a teenager that don't have any condition, have to work and study hard, even on this condition, don't have conditions and study hard during the night, I don't know, and got the access to the university and the change your lives. It's much better if this guy receive all of the possibilities during your life. That's mean if your life get easier and it's possible to just study and don't work in the same time. But unfortunately, sometimes our society is not fair and they don't receive, not exactly in Brazil, but in a lot of countries. Brazil is the one of the worst I believe, because sometimes we receive or everyone receive some privilege, but you don't have a good life because the lack of privilege for everyone or equity society don't allow to live tranquil, because certainly this condition cause a lot of problems, violence, and the different situations. That's okay. Okay, I received privilege, I became rich, but it's not possible to get out, for example, in a restaurant, and maybe it's possible to hire security, how the fort, I'm not sure the name of the carro blindado, or a lot of situations, but it's not exactly a good life, because you have to pay for everything. Your house is not exactly a house, is a Fort Knox or something like that, and it's not exactly a good life to, in some circumstances, probably your kids, your children have some problem, face the violence too. So in this case, it's necessary everyone do the best to solve this problem. So in this case, oh, I'm a white man. Okay, yeah. In certain, besides of I got in university when I was 35 years old, but for the other hand, I'm a white man. Maybe, possibly, I receive some privilege. I'm not a rich man, my family too, but maybe it's possible to, uh, how do you say, I'm good telling that's a privilege because I'm healthy, I'm a white man, okay. But for the hand, I have to focus my life to help other people to provide the same circumstances for others people, and create a better society in the future.
Yeah, very good. And I think it's really important what you said, that some things you didn't achieve because you didn't do something that you should do, so not because you don't have like a privilege. And you, Jefferson.
Well, I think impact a lot our opportunity, and you must try to do this. We must to promote equity. We must to provide resources and support for students. In my case, for marginalized backgrounds, as Fernand said about you can buy computer, better internet. I think this is very important for marginalized backgrounds guys or poor guys. I think this is very important. We can offer scholarships, very important. FIES, it's amazing. It's amazing. FIES is amazing for poor guys. And here in Goiás, we have the support from the government too. We have scholarship for the poor guys. We have this kind of things. It's very important. And about financial aid, I think it's very important. Bolsa Família, this make a difference for the poor guys. It's very important. I supported this. It's a very good program of the government. It's very important for this kind for impact our opportunity and experience. What else? We can create, it's very important now, we have a big discussion about create safety spaces for marginalized communities, so poor guys, like schools. We have 15 days, I think the worst days of the Brazilian for students, especially for poor guys. It's a big discussion about killing guys, poor guys in schools. So we need to create safe space. And just to finish, to provide training and resources for this kind of guys who have discrimination. You must provide training all the time, all kind of training. And in my case, I used to train about like how to tackle with financial, to tackle with your money, how to save money, how to invest it. And I try to do my best.
Very good, Jan. We have like many projects that can help like with education. So this is something really good. And before we finish, do you want to add something, guys? Maybe Fernando or Robert, do you want to say something else about the conversation?
No, I love your topics.
Mhm. Very good. I feel happy.
It's a pleasure to be here with you. It's a very, very reflective conversation. You can share my opinion and hear you. Guys, is very, very special. Thank you.